I have mixed reactions, but there are a lot of assumptions. So just two, three things. People get obsessed with this 3.2 figure that you talked about. But that 3.2 is to be given a context. And that context is, for the first time, India embarked on a law to correct its fiscal deficit in 2004. The best year was 2006 7, 7 8, just before the crisis, when we had a record 2.5% fiscal deficit and almost 1% current account deficit. And from 2007 8, it started slipping down. And the worst year was when Mr. Chidambaram came back and presented the 2013 budget. Our fiscal deficit touched almost 5%, and our current account deficit was 2.5%. And he was the one who started the initiation of bringing back some discipline in the fiscal. Now, I don't think what is important is whether the government is going to achieve 3% or not. I think what's good that they have done and what is hidden in the budget is what they have projected as a current account deficit. It almost goes back to 2006-7 level. If they are able to achieve 1.2% on current account, I think that will be really fabulous. And the reasons for that are as follows. Uh, the distinction between plan and non-plan expenditure has gone away. The idea to measure capital expenditure over a period of time is going to become a reality. And more importantly, don't forget that the devolution of revenues to the state after the 14th Finance Commission brings more money at the state level, less at the federal level. The second aspect, which was also evident, I think he had raised maximum red flags on demonetization than any uh, person serving in the government would have talked about, but in his flowery language, it got missed out. Uh, Two, three things. One, he gave the growth figures only for 6 months, 2 quarters. So he did not factor in third quarter, fourth quarter. Two, he's also uh, put out a very broad range of growth estimates for 17, 18. Again, he said that the situation in the first 2 quarters is going to be extremely fragile. Uh, there is a context to both the statements. And I think that if today, if anyone tries to estimate what the deficit would be for next year or what the growth would be for next year, I think it's like gambling with very high stakes. So I don't think anyone can really estimate. Two, three indications are there in the budget. One is the part A of the budget, which is fiscal. I think the biggest challenge that the government had this time was how do they go and estimate the revenues? I'm actually a little bit surprised how he has estimated the indirect tax revenues for excise and service tax when he knows that he's going to implement the GST, if not from July 1, then from at least September 1 or October 1. So I think there's a flaw in the revenue receipt budget of the government.